morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie, if you've never been here before, and on the channel I upload whatever I want. Today I am going to be taking you along with me as I get ready for the morning. I am subbing today, so it's going to be a subbing teaching related video, which are kind of rare on my channel. I'm hoping that they're not, but I feel like I say that in every teaching video. Because I upload whatever I want on my channel, sometimes I do just whatever I'm in the mood for, and lately that's been a lot of reading content, which I'm not mad about, but I do know that some people are here for the teaching related videos. So if that is what you are here for, that is what you're getting today. I have some makeup here, and I also have this crate here with like my brushes and things, and I have my mirror in front of me. I'm going to be attempting to get ready with all of my pets in the room. I have 2 cats and a dog, if you didn't know, and that'll be interesting. But I'm also going to attempt to get ready while answering like some questions about teaching and my journey with teaching, if it stops here, if I'm going to be teaching next year. So if you want to know the answers to all those questions, then you clicked on the right video. I'm just going to be doing like everyday makeup today, so these are the products that I use every day. So if you're curious about any of that, just comment. I doubt anyone is curious, but I want to be doing something while I answer these questions. Also, if you have a question for me, please comment below and I will try to do another video soon answering those questions. I should have asked questions before I started filming this, but I forgot to, or I just didn't think about it, honestly. So after watching this video, if you still have questions for me, please comment and I will try to do another one of these maybe later on in the job hunting season, or maybe I'll just insert it in a sub vlog. So anyways, I'm going with my primer now. I already moisturized my face. I've uploaded a few subbing vlogs this school year. I kind of wish I have uploaded more, but honestly, it's kind of hard to vlog as a teacher in general, but especially a substitute teacher, because you just don't know, you don't want to show too much about the classroom, you don't want to show anything about the school or the students or the teacher that teaches in there. So it can be a little bit difficult. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, sorry about the lighting. The sun is currently rising, but it wasn't much better when I had it on this side. So we're gonna try to work with it. The angle might change like halfway through this video if I realize that the lighting might be better on this side. I'm gonna go in with my foundation now. In some of my subbing vlogs, I've gotten questions, or on the shorts that I post about like what I brought for lunch and things like that. I have got a couple questions about if I've left teaching or like why I'm subbing, and I feel like it's something I've talked about quite a bit, and honestly I don't enjoy talking about because it's a sore subject for me, but I know that it might be a question that you have, so I definitely want to answer it. I kind of need to go into like my history with teaching and what I was doing last year. So in case you're new here, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in elementary education in December of 2022. So I did my student teaching in the fall of 2022, so from August to like the end of November, and I loved it. I feel like that's, first of all, that's such a great time to do your student teaching. The fall, I feel like, is the best time because you get like such an insider look that you typically won't really get in your college prep program of the back to school process and how different it is from the end of the school year, especially depending on grade level, which I did my student teaching in kindergarten, and I feel like learning all about WA kids, because I don't know how it is in every state, but in Washington we have something called WA kids, and it's like kindergarten readiness basically, and it takes up a lot of time, and it's something that you do at the beginning of the school year. Well, it's kind of something that you do throughout the whole school year, but a huge chunk of it is at the beginning of the school year. And so getting to see that was very interesting because I had no idea what WA kids even was. But also like in other grade levels, you're doing state testing, and so I feel like while that is something that would be beneficial to learn if you are in those grade levels that do state testing, in kindergarten they don't really do state testing in Washington, at least. I know in other states they do, which is very interesting. But I guess it kind of depends on your grade level and where you're at in the college program. Like, you're not going to delay your student teaching process just to do it in the fall. I don't see anybody doing that. But if you are, or if you're in the same like place in your college prep program that I was, and maybe you're feeling discouraged about having to do your student teaching in the middle of the school year or the beginning of the school year, or just at a like untraditional time, I am here to encourage you that I think it's better that way, because I loved my experience. Also, I will get into my history with subbing and, you know, just like everything about substitute teaching, and maybe my feelings on it. But I will say, regardless of my personal experience with long-term subbing and with subbing, I am still glad to have just the few experiences I had before getting a classroom teacher job, because you really do learn a lot through substitute teaching, I think. And even to this day, I've had my own classroom. I'm back subbing again. Even now, as a substitute teacher this school year, I take so much inspiration and take note of so many things in every single classroom I'm in regarding classroom management, procedures, routines, organization, resources up on the wall. Like, I take pictures, I write things down that I want to like carry over into my next classroom. And those aren't really experiences that I would have had I graduated my degree in the spring, immediately got a job, and had my own classroom. Do I really badly want my own classroom? Yes. But I do try to like think about the positives in my experience, and in doing so, I am grateful for having the months that I did left in a school year without getting my own classroom. So from the end of November up through June, what is that? It's about 6-7 months. No. So I had time to where I knew in my mind that I wasn't going to get a classroom teacher job in the middle of the school year. So I knew I was going to be subbing. I knew I was going to wait until the next school year to get a job, which that's a whole nother story. I subbed a little bit at like in a high school and a preschool, which I actually vlogged those experiences because it was during Vlogmas. So if you want to see those vlogs, feel free to check out my channel. I don't know how cringy they are because it has been a while since then. But I did pick up like daily jobs at the time, like I'm doing now, just subbing at different schools and different grade levels. Then I picked up a long-term sub job, and it started in February, and it was in 4th grade, and that went through the end of the school year. So I taught 4th grade in a long-term sub job for a teacher who was on maternity leave, and that was a heck of an experience. I also filmed a video on my experience, and I went into honest, true details about my feelings on my long-term sub experience, but the reason why I haven't picked up a long-term sub job to this day. So again, that is a video on my channel. If I remember, I will try to link it up here if you want to see all of my true thoughts. But if you want just like a short little gist of them, in this video, I will just say I was miserable for a lot of reasons. It was very eye-opening in regards to what I was about to get myself into with teaching as a whole. I will say my experiences with teaching since that experience, having my own classroom and subbing for the last school year, have been better, and they've been more positive. Nothing has quite been at that level. So I do want to say that. I don't want to like scare people off who are like, I'm about to go into a long-term job, like, oh my gosh, like, is this what teaching is going to be like? You might have experiences like I did, but I won't say everything is like that, which after leaving my long-term sub job, I was questioning my career choices, and I might still be questioning my career choices now for different reasons though. It's not for the same exact reasons. Let's just say I may have been offered jobs and I declined them. That is how miserable I was. And even though I don't have job security now, I don't regret declining the jobs. Let's just say that. That's all I'm gonna say in this video about my experience. Again, I filmed a whole video on it, so go watch that video if you're curious. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm going in with my concealer. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with my bronzer. I love this bronzer. After long-term subbing, I literally, like, the day after long-term subbing, I went to Hawaii with my family, and that was so, like, I needed that, honestly. I needed that vacation, and just to recuperate. And then actually, let's rewind a little bit. While I was long-term subbing, it was in the spring, winter spring. So I was like trying to get a job for the next school year. So I was applying and applying and applying. And here is where we might get into a little bit more negativity as well, which I'm gonna try to avoid because I don't wanna be another voice in the abyss of telling you to change your degree and run. I don't wanna be another person like that. I see those videos everywhere on social media. But I'm just gonna tell you my honest, true experience because I think that is what I needed when I was going through my teacher program, or in the moment. So I had been told in my teacher prep program through my university that, well, actually even outside of my university, you see it on the news, teacher shortage here, teacher shortage there. In my state, that is not the case. We do not have a teacher shortage in my state. And I didn't know that. So while I'm applying to these jobs, I'm like romanticizing my life in this job at this school in this grade level. And I'm thinking I have options. And while jobs were popping up in that school year, 2 years ago, I was applying to everything. I applied to over 50 jobs. And that's on the lower end of my estimate. I didn't hear back from probably like 40 of them. If I applied to 50, I didn't hear back from like 40. Like, that's the ratio. And the ones that I did hear back from, it was position closed. That was not something that I expected. I did not expect to have to apply to so many and literally be ghosted by schools. Like, that was crazy. Most of the jobs, like if I didn't hear back from them, I would go onto the district's website and then just see that the application was no longer there. Or sometimes you could see that there was like a little like it would have the position, the date it was posted, the date you need to like turn in all of your like things, and then it would be like your status, and it would be like application received. Sometimes it would say position filled, and you'd be like, oh, thanks for letting me know. You know, they didn't really tell you, you had to look for yourself. But yeah, that was like how most of the jobs were. Technically, I heard back from 3 schools, but before I got my job, I had heard back from 2 schools. Okay, I have tried to move the camera in so many locations. We're just gonna have to deal with this weird shadow. So I technically had heard back from 3 jobs by the end of the whole job hunting season. But at the time that I got my job, I had only heard back from 2. If you are in the season and you are applying and applying and applying and not hearing back, I want you to know that that's common. And I've even heard from other states, like even in California as well, Southern California, it's the same situation that it is here. So I just want you to know you're not alone. It will happen, probably, unless you are in a state that does have a teacher shortage. So, oh my gosh, I can't stand the lighting, but I need to just get over it. I'm going in with powder for my under eyes. I had been applying since, I think I applied to my first job during my long-term sub in like March or April. So between April through the last week in July, I had been applying and applying and applying and not hearing back from any school. And that was a tough season in my life because I didn't expect any of it. I think if I expected it, I would have been better off mentally because it would be something to expect, but I didn't. I actually expected the opposite. I expected to be able to have my choice of jobs, and that's just not the case. I was starting to question my teaching abilities. I was starting to question like my resume, like what is it about me that these schools don't want? And I had no idea, because I had no idea why I hadn't heard back from any of these schools. I'm just like trying to enjoy my summer, but I couldn't because I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing next year. Like, am I gonna have a job? it was a dark time in my life. All that time I had gone without having any idea of what I was gonna be doing the next school year. The end of July comes, which, another note, August is a very busy time for me. With school and everything, it gets crazier, but even without a job, it gets very crazy. And especially that August, we're approaching August, and if I get a classroom, I don't know when I'm gonna set it up, because the first week of August is always busy. There will never be a year in my life where you're like, oh, let's do something, and it's during the first full week of August. I'm gonna say no. I volunteer for a organization that puts on a summer camp for children who have been in foster care, and I've been doing it since I was 15, and I am now 24. So it is something that is very, very important and near to my heart, and our camp takes place every first full week of August. So I will always be busy. So it's the last week of July, and I finally get a phone call to set up an interview. Actually, for the first job, I got an email, and I didn't see the email until like 10 p.m. at night. I don't know how, honestly, but I didn't see the email. And oh, also going in with this blush. I need to throw this away. It's probably expired. I've had it forever, but I'm trying to use it up. I don't know why, I just have this weird thing about using it up, but I need to throw it away, I know. Anyways, I was laying in bed and I saw the email, and I was like, oh my gosh. I like turned over to Ryan and I was like telling him about the email, and I was like, I finally got an interview, and they're trying to set it up. And so like I emailed them back like that night, I'm pretty sure. And I set up an interview, and that was for a kindergarten position. I was so excited because I did my student teaching in kindergarten, and I was just excited. And again, I was like, okay, well, now that I have an interview, I'm for sure gonna get this job. So I was like romanticizing my commute on my way to the interview. I was like thinking about how I was gonna set up my kindergarten classroom. And so I went to the interview. I was just so excited. I felt like it went pretty well. I prepared for it. I watched all the YouTube videos you could think of. I listened to the podcast episodes you could find. Like, I was preparing. I wrote down questions. I practiced them over and over again. I really liked the vibe that I got at the school and from the interview panel. I was definitely romanticizing it. I went in with my highlighter, and now I'm gonna go in with my brow gel. I'm like thinking, like, I get home and I'm like, it went really well. Like, I don't know how they couldn't hire me. And I got a phone call. And that interview was like at the beginning of the last week of July. I got a phone call, and it was from the principal of that school. And she was like, I have to tell you, we're going with somebody else. The person we're going with has a lot of experience. And I'm like, so something that I can't compete with. But she was like, you interviewed very well. Like, if you had more experience, we would have hired you. Any other school would be lucky to have you. If you haven't found a job yet, you will, blah, blah, blah. So I'm super sad about it, because I'm like, oh, that was the only interview I had. And at that point, I honestly was like, I honestly had given up on the school year. I was like, there's no way. Like, August is next week. The first full week of August, I am unavailable. I'm out of town. No phone service, no phone. There's just no way. Oh wait, also at this time before I got the second phone call, every other job that I had applied to had closed. So I really was not expecting anything. And that is another reason why I gave up. There was a school that I applied to back in like May, maybe early June. It was like a pool type of application. So it was like K-5 teacher pool, and they needed 5 positions open. So you didn't know, I'm pretty sure you didn't know what grade level it was going to be until you got the job, or until you interviewed for it, I think. That job was still open, like they're on their portal, but I hadn't heard anything back, and that was like weird. And I'm pretty sure Ryan, my bestie Ryan, I'm pretty sure she like contacted the principal and was like, is this still open? And I really, like, guys, my memory is like failing me, but I'm pretty sure they told her that it was closed. So at the time that I got the next phone call, I was like, I didn't even know this was a possibility. So before I got that phone call, I was like, there's no job for me next school year. Like, I'm just gonna have to sub. Lashes are curled, mascara is on. Actually, I think I'm gonna put a little bit of this mascara on my bottom lashes. I got a phone call. I was actually like driving too, I remember at the time. And it was from like a number that I didn't have saved on my phone. But I was like, I have to answer, like, what if it's school? So, and it was a principal of a school, and she was like, she introduced herself and she was like, I'm calling to set up an interview if you're still interested. It is 5th grade. And she gave me like details about the job, and I was like, 5th grade? But I was like, I can't be picky. I actually can't be picky because I don't have a job. So I was like, yes. And she was like, can you do this day? I don't even remember what day it was. Oh, I think she might have called me on a Friday and the interview was for like Monday or something. I set up an interview, and I want to say my interview was like on one of the last days of July, like 28th, 29th, 30th, something like that. And I went to my interview and I was nervous because I was like, 5th grade, like this isn't for me. But I was like also super desperate. I need to get a new setting spray. I love the setting spray, but once you get to like the bottom of it, it starts to like not spray as nicely, and it's kind of crazy to put on. But I love the way that it looks, or makes my makeup look, I guess. I'm running a little bit late, so I'm gonna go do my hair, and I'll try to finish this video, but maybe I'll finish it in the classroom during my prep. And if I don't do it then, it'll be after school. I promise I'll finish the story, but this is my makeup. I'm back in the classroom now. Well, I'm in the classroom on my prep, 2nd period, but I figured I would finish what I was talking about, and I figured I would finish what I was talking about and finish this video because I'm obviously not getting ready anymore, but I did leave off in a random story. So I think I left off like getting the phone call about the 2nd interview. So let's start there. Also, I wanted to mention all of this was like filmed. I did like job hunting updates 2 years ago on my channel, and you can see like vlogs and things like that. Like I think I filmed me getting ready for my interviews and things like that. So you can go and watch those if you want, but I mainly just wanted to like have another place if you're new here to see all that I had to go through to get to the point where I'm at now. If you aren't new here, this might be repeat information, but I promise I'm gonna eventually get to the point where I answer what I'm doing next year. I got the call, I did the interview, and they told me that they would let me know by the end of the week. It was on a Friday, I think. I got the call that I got the job, and I want to say it was like the 3rd of August, maybe even like the 2nd of August or something like that. And I asked them if I could go and see my classroom that day because I was like, that was the Friday before I left for my camp on Sunday. So I was like, I'm gonna have an entire week where I can't go. They called me like the Friday before I left for my camp, and I leave for camp on Sunday. I go through that whole week. I come back on a Friday evening actually. And then they told me that that following Monday, I needed to be at teacher training. So I had a weekend basically to do classroom setup if I didn't go that day that they called me. I went, I got my key the same day that they offered me the job. I saw my classroom, and I taught my first year of teaching, 5th grade at that school. But unfortunately, it was a temporary contract, which I did know going into it when I applied to it, that it was a 1-year contract. And honestly, in today's day and age, that is more common. Jobs are typically on 1-year contracts now. So I knew that going into it. I wasn't like devastated by the end of the year. I was hopeful that I would be able to renew my contract, but I knew going into it that it was on ESSER funding, which was the money funded through COVID. And I also knew that that money would be no longer funded, or that act, I guess, would no longer be funded after that school year. Unfortunately, I was not going to get my job back, but there was a job opening at my school that I applied for and I was really hopeful for. and it would be a grade level below. It would be 4th grade. And I didn't hear back for a while from my school. So I applied during school, like when we were still in the school year. And then the school year ended and I didn't hear back. And at the same time, I was applying to other positions because just in case I didn't get the job, I wanted to have backups, potential backups. And I had a lot of people in my ear telling me that I shouldn't do that because I'm gonna get the job. Like, there's no way that I don't get a job at my school. However, I was told because it was a temporary contract, I would not be considered in district when I applied. So I would be going up against everyone that wasn't in district. So it'd be kind of like starting all over. So that kind of signaled to me that it wasn't a guaranteed position. So I did my best in the interview, and I knew the next day. They called me the next day that I didn't get the job. As soon as they called me, I kind of knew, because when I did get the job the year before, it took them a week to call me back. And so not even 24 hours later getting the call, it hurt really bad. It really did, it hurt. I later found out that someone in district did get the job. I'll just leave that there. So I applied and applied and applied, and I didn't get any other interview last school year. Here I am subbing. So fast forward to current day. For some context, a lot of districts around me, especially the bigger districts where there would be more jobs, are doing a lot of budget cuts and laying off dozens and dozens of teachers. Each district that I'm talking about has laid off near 50 each school year in the past 3 years. So it really sucks because we are already facing teacher shortages due to low enrollment post-COVID. Not teacher shortages, teacher job shortages. We're facing layoffs due to low enrollment, but then on top of it, the districts around me are mismanaging their funds and going through like crises with new superintendents and superintendents getting pay raises and being paid more than our state governor or our state superintendent of public instruction, while also realizing they don't have enough money to fund the classrooms that they already have. With all of that, it's hard because as a new teacher, I have my master's degree. I have a year of experience in my own classroom, but I also have a year and a half of subbing experience. I have also student taught. I am about to get my endorsement. All of those things should be able to guarantee me a job, honestly. Maybe not even a job, but at least guarantee me interviews. And that's not the experience I'm having. So that's unfortunate. But on top of that, I am also competing for these jobs against teachers who are probably more deserving. They have their degrees, just like I do. They have their endorsements. They also have been teaching for years now, and they're getting laid off. And when I am competing for the same job they are, of course the job is going to go to them. Their resume is so much more extensive and well-rounded compared to mine. Currently, today that I'm filming this, it is May 12th. And I have applied to about 10 jobs so far, and I've heard back from one, and I basically got an email that they closed it and they filled it. And apparently they got a large number of applicants, and it was a very competitive process. But I'm waiting on it to hear back from a few others, and I know I might not ever hear back. But the hope is that I get a classroom job next year. I've had a way better experience subbing this school year than I did before I had my classroom job. And it's been very flexible, and I've loved it, but I need consistency, and even more so, I would really, really like health insurance. I would like benefits. And also, like, my husband and I, like, are we able to survive financially? Yes. We're doing more than surviving even. But we have financial goals. We have a house to buy. We have trips we want to go on and cars that we need to maintain, but also like we're driving our cars till the wheels fall off. So we have financial goals. We want to have kids, and that's just not something I can do subbing. So I want my own classroom. I miss my own classroom. I miss all of the good parts about having a classroom. Of course, I don't miss the negative things, but that's just part of the job, and I just want to become a better teacher, and I feel like I can't do that without my own classroom. So to answer the one question, I guess, that I talked about at the beginning of this video, the goal is to become a classroom teacher again. in my own classroom. But with the context of how the teacher job shortage is right now in my state, in my area especially, I hope that you can understand or get a glimpse into what it looks like right now. And I've been praying about it and honestly just doing my best. Like, I'm getting my endorsement, I'm doing all the things that I can do to secure a job, but I know if I don't get one, it's not me. It's not me. And I've come to terms with that, at least right now. I think as we go later into the summer, it's really going to take a toll on my mental health again, but I know I'll be okay. And I just hope things get better soon. And that's the update, guys. That's the life update. So if you have any more questions about job hunting, like, I can go into so much more. I didn't really go into the details of like how I'm applying or what I'm applying or like how I'm looking for jobs. But if you have any questions on any of that, or if you just want to chat in the comments, please ask away. Please comment away. I love interacting with comments. And I would love to be a resource because I feel like there's not a lot about the teacher job hunting situation on YouTube. I would like to be that person for you, or one of those people for you. I'm actually going to go and study for my endorsement because I'm taking my exam at the end of the month to hopefully look better on applications and resumes. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like me, then subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.